Hello, good afternoon. Dr. Trudy Ufundu of Snowspirations Global Health Solutions. Thank you and welcome to our weekend open clinic with Dr. Trudy. Today, we're going to talk about the best food, the top 5 best food you should eat if you're preparing for IVF. The process of IVF is an emotionally challenging and physically demanding process. So it's important we prepare our body, we prepare our mind, we prepare our spirit the right way. So today we're going to learn about 5 suggested food items you should consume if you are getting ready for IVF. If you have already started IVF, if you've already gone for the transfer, when you concentrate on these 5 foods, you will give yourself a better chance of having a better outcome. So thank you so much. When you join, let's know who you are. Chinyere, thank you for coming all the way from Podaka. I'm going to give a few minutes and I will start my presentation. Once I'm done with my presentation, I'm going to open the clinic and you will ask your questions. It's important to equip yourself with the right knowledge if you are going for a process like in vitro fertilization. Very important. Okay, so please quickly settle in so we can get the clinic started. Once you come in, please announce your location and let's know who you are, and we're going to get the clinic started. We are talking about the 5 top foods you can eat when you are planning for IVF. Okay? Quickly join, please. All right, so let's start. So you see, IVF stands for in vitro fertilization. So when you have made up your mind to go for IVF, we have to first of all understand what IVF is all about. So during IVF, for some reasons, your body as a woman, didn't really perform the role. The body of a man, for some reason, also didn't perform the role expected of the body. So we take over. So in vitro fertilization is a type of assisted reproductive technique. So our aim is to challenge the ovaries to release a lot of eggs, then go to the penis, challenge the penis, release sperm, get the egg and the sperm together outside the body of the woman, form an embryo, then go back and implant it back into the womb. Then the process of pregnancy will continue. This is more like the last step, the last bus stop. If other methods of helping you to achieve pregnancy fails, IVF is the last bus stop for everything becoming pregnant. Now, you've already made up your mind to go for this. Great job. It's not easy to make up your mind to go for IVF because besides the fact it's expensive, it's emotionally challenging. It's physically draining. There are so many anxiety. There are so many worries. And one of the areas that so many women worry about is what to eat. So here's the deal. When you are going for IVF, your focus should be on balanced meal. Balanced meal. So I'm sure growing up, we all had about balanced diet and all that. We have to be mindful. This is not the time for you to make major or significant change in what you eat. So this is not the time to say, oh, I'm going to cut this, I'm going to cut that. You're still going to engage in things you're very comfortable eating. Like this is not the time to go gluten-free. If you were previously doing gluten-free diet, that's okay. Don't have any quick switches, no quick changes. It will confuse your body. The overall aim of eating the right food during IVF is to give your body a chance to perform optimally, is to give the body a chance to make sure that ovulation will happen optimally, is to give the body a chance to make sure that the hormones that will help the body to sustain that pregnancy is optimal. So when we are planning for IVF, we are helping our body to be in the best position. Now, besides the food, you also have to work on your activity level. So the best food, based on our research, is actually the type of food style we call Mediterranean food diet. Mediterranean food diet. It's very important you understand this. Mediterranean food diet is actually plant-based, majorly. plant-based, colorful food that should provide you with positive nutrition, because your body is going to go through a lot. Your body, the hormones are going to be flipping all over the place. We are actually trying to control the body. So Mediterranean style is what is recommended. Based on a recent research, we actually discovered that women that are below 35, I want you to focus on this. If you go on Mediterranean diet and you're below 35, and for some reasons you are going for IVF, we tend to have very good outcome, especially if you are not overweight or obese. So remember, obesity, your body weight can play a role in the outcome of your fertility, in the outcome of your pregnancy. So if you are planning to go for IVF, by default, you should have worked on your body weight. We don't want it to be above 30 in your BMI. We want it to be at least towards 25. So if a lady is below 35 and she is taking Mediterranean diet, which is pretty much plant-based and vegetable-based food, you have a better chance of having a very good outcome. Now, in as much as we are doing all this to help you to understand your body, we should also understand that the male partner will also need to engage in Mediterranean diet. So it's actually meant for both parties, because if your partner eats the right kind of food, eats balanced food, the possibility that the sperm will be high quality is also good. The possibility the body mass index will also be within good range is very good. Now let's talk about the 5 specific food item you should consume, you should prioritize if you are going for IVF, if you are planning for IVF, if you've already gone for your transfer. Number 1, you should know this by default, your fruits and vegetables. All the edible fruits, all the edible vegetables, you have to consume them. Every single meal, make it a point of duty to consume enough fresh vegetables. Fresh. I didn't say frozen. Fresh fruits and vegetables. They will help you. They are a very good source of the nutrients you need to balance your hormone, to balance the metabolism, and give you a better option of having a very good outcome. So number 1 meal, number 1 food item is what? Your fruits and your vegetables. Fresh. Number 2, you have to concentrate on lean proteins. You need your protein. There are different types of protein. Now, anytime you consider protein, think lean protein. If you are going for IVF, example of lean protein is your fish and your poultry. So your bird, your turkey, they are all advisable you eat them. Now remember that moderation is key. So in as much as we want you to be eating your fruits and vegetables, it doesn't mean you don't have to moderate it. Because remember that your fruits and vegetables can also contain a lot of calories. So it's all about getting the right quantity, making sure your portion size are all good. So number 1, fruits and vegetables. Number 2, lean proteins. Lean proteins. Example is your fish and your poultry, like your chicken, your turkey, and all that. They are all okay. Now, number 3, you have to think about whole grains. Whole grains. So things like your quinoa, things like your whole grain pasta, things like your whole grain cereal, anything whole grain will help you at this stage. So remember, number 1, fruits, vegetables, lean protein, your fish, your poultry, then your whole grains. You can't go wrong with your whole grains. These are food items that will help you to maximize what your body is already given. Now you have to add some legumes. So you think about beans, you think about your lentils, you think about your chickpeas. So beans at this stage is also encouraged. So I've already mentioned 4. Now, when you are consuming your dairy products, so your milk, your cheese, think low-fat dairy products, low-fat milk, low-fat milk. Understand my point? Low-fat milk. It will help you. So a combination of these 5 food, when you concentrate on eating them for all your meal and you drink your water, definitely no alcohol. You should know this by now. Definitely no soda, because we don't want to increase the toxicity in your body. Toxicity in your body by drinking the alcohol and soda can affect the hormones. The hormones, if the hormones are not within the normal place, some people can actually become pregnant during IVF and they can miscarry. So it's not just enough to become pregnant. You have to become pregnant. They also have a good outcome. So the 5 top food items generally recommended for all women, all men going through IVF: your fruits, your vegetables, your lean protein, so like your fish, your chicken, your turkey, then your whole grains. You think about your pasta, grain pasta. You think about your wheat. You think about your cereal. Make sure they are whole grains. Then your legumes. You think about your beans. Then low-fat dairy products. Now, ultimately, at some point you're gonna throw in some fats there. So healthy fats like your avocado, like your extra virgin olive oil, like your nuts, like your seeds, they will all help you. So the food items I've mentioned, I've actually mentioned 6. These food items will help you to have a good outcome in your IVF. By default, remember, you cannot pay all that millions and you get it wrong. I'm also gonna throw the foods you should avoid. So there are so many food items we love eating, but in this course of your IVF, you have to avoid them. Avoid red meat. Avoid all raw sugar. Avoid refined grains. So I know so many people love to eat their rice and all that. They are all refined grains. So avoid red meat. Avoid raw sugar, refined grains, and other highly processed food. So what do I mean by that? If you love eating fast food, this is not the time for fast food. Prepare your food. Make sure you have conscious addition of all the 6 classes of food. This is not the time for China food. This is not the time for McDonald's. This is not the time for what do you call it? All those food eateries you have out there. Stay back home. Stock your fridge with fresh fruits and vegetables. Prepare your meal. This is the time to be more careful. No highly processed food. No Uber Eats and all that. Stay back home and please do the right thing. Definitely work on your salt. On a good day, you don't even need to put a lot of salt in your food. So cut out your salt. Now flavor your food with spices and herbs instead. But cut the salt. You don't need a lot of salt, especially added salt. You see, there are some people that can't eat food unless they sprinkle raw salt on it. The salt you put directly when you're eating is actually deadlier than the salt you put in your food when you're preparing them. The raw the salt, the more deadly it will be in your body. So these are the 5 things you can concentrate on. They are all components of the Mediterranean diet if you are planning to go for IVF. And by the special grace of God, you will have a success story. Thank you so much. And please, the clinic is open now. Start asking your questions. Immediately after this clinic, we're going to go to Facebook, to our page, and I will repeat this same clinic on our page. Remember, tomorrow, we have a big event. Today is the eve of our event in our group. Super Masterclass, Overcoming Infertility. If you have not registered, you still have up to today. By end of today, that's the deadline. I want you to increase your opportunity of becoming pregnant and becoming a mother in 2023. But the clinic is now open. I can see my amazing crew. I can see COO. I can see Chinyere. I can see Onyinye all the way from Germany, New York, and Port Harcourt. But guys, and I can also see Tosi, amazing lady. I don't know how she does this. She has never missed any of our clinic. Then I can see Ogunsola Olubumi. Guys, the clinic is open. Start asking your question. For amazing team, I expect everybody to ask me at least 5 questions. Okay? 5 questions from my crew. Starting from COO. COO, I'm always afraid of your questions because your questions are like, my senior teachers in medical school are doing another Viva for me. So please start asking your questions. And be encouraged. The fact you have made up your mind to go for IVF, you have to be well planned. Now, remember, in our group, we have a guide. There's a specific guide, step-by-step guide of IVF. Admin, when we transition to Facebook, make that guide available to all our members. You can't be going for IVF without knowing what you're going for. Guys, please ask your question. Is it necessary to avoid PPP while going through IVF? No, it's not necessary. Now, remember, just like natural process, okay? Once we have succeeded in transferring the embryo is intact in your womb, no problem. So matter of fact, lovemaking has different processes, right? So lovemaking is not only when you put a penis inside a vagina. There are so many ways you can create intimacy, get together, because during IVF, the woman is freaking out. She's a lot of nerves. She's, getting a lot of injections. She's worrying. Is this going to succeed? They are running ultrasound. They are checking this, they're checking that. Her whole body is paining her. So she needs comfort. So lovemaking is even advisable at this stage. But there is no contraindication of lovemaking during IVF. It's encouraged. Okay? All right. What is likely to cause IVF failure? I love this. Now, IVF can fail at any stage. From the egg, so the quality of the egg, if the egg is not good quality, the possibility is going to fail is very high. The quality of the sperm, if the sperm is not good quality, the possibility is going to fail is very high. Implantation failure, if the cover of your womb, so one of the things we normally check during IVF is to check the endometrium. Endometrium is the cover of your womb. If we don't have adequate thickness, the hormone that maintains the endometrium thickness is progesterone combined with estrogen. So when we are preparing you for IVF, we normally keep an eye on the thickness of the endometrium. We also keep an eye on the ovaries to see the number of follicles we are anticipating. So at any stage in the IVF process, if we don't have a good feedback, we'll cancel it. Now, some women can have exaggerated reactions from preparations for IVF. So some women can have what we call ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome. That's a very painful condition. Your ovaries are swollen. You have an adverse effect. When that happens, we cancel the IVF. We are better off canceling an IVF we know that will fail than to just go and answer present that we had an IVF. A good IVF provider will not proceed if we notices that something is going to lead to failure in that IVF. So IVF can fail because of the air quality, sperm quality, implantation failure, hormonal balance issues, the procedure itself. So depending on the expertise of the person conducting the IVF, if they are not well experienced, if they don't have good storage facilities, if they don't have good embryologists, any of those things can affect the outcome of IVF. This is why you need to ask critical questions. You do not want to be a guinea pig. So what do I mean by a guinea pig? You don't want to go to a provider that claims to be doing IVF and you're the first person he's doing IVF on. You don't want to do that. You want to go to a provider that has done so many IVFs and there are so many success stories. So this is how we run in our group. Anybody we are referring to, any IVF provider in Nigeria, that person has had good success story and is a doctor we communicate with, is a doctor that has succeeded in twins, triplets, and quadruplets. So don't just take yourself to anybody advertising for IVF and they're not giving you a report. Another thing you have to understand, there are specific questions you're supposed to ask the doctor with your partner. Make sure you go with your partner. Very important. Does hereditary high blood pressure affect success rate of IVF? Not directly, but guess what? Anytime we have a concern with hypertension, we have to control it. So you can still have hypertension and it can be controlled. You can be pregnant. We keep an eye on you and you can have your pregnancy. So the fact you have hypertension, familiar history, that means your dad or your mom had hypertension, the possibility you also develop hypertension is high, but that should not stop you. And that does not have any direct effect in the outcome of your IVF. No direct effect. Can a woman who is diabetic go for IVF? Yes. Diabetes and hypertension are both chronic medical conditions. Our aim is to control. So you can have your diabetes, you can have your hypertension, we can control you, then you can go for IVF. The problem is lack of control. If we don't control your blood pressure, if we don't control your blood sugar, it can complicate a lot of things. So you can still have all these medical problems and you can still start your family. The fact you have diabetes, the fact you have hypertension does not remove you from the equation of becoming a mother. But the game plan is to control. We have to control it to the BRS minimum. Can IVF work with adhesions in the womb? No. We do not want to have any impediment in the womb. Anytime you are going for IVF, we want to make sure that the womb is as clean as possible, as free as possible. If you have any adhesions, what will happen is the same place that the embryo will implant. It will affect the embryo. So if you have any fibroids inside the womb, intramural and submucosal, the possibility it will affect the outcome is there. If you have a big polyp, the possibility it will affect the outcome is there. So if we are preparing for IVF, we have to make sure that everything is perfect. So we don't encourage anybody that has adhesions. Unfortunately, if you have any adhesions and they are significantly impactful, you have to go for surgical removal of the adhesions before you go for IVF. Here we go, COO. If one is on special diet before IVF, should they continue with it during IVF? Now, it depends on what you call special diet, right? Now, there are so many fad diets out there. So long as the diet you are currently on, it's user-friendly. Like there was a time keto was very popular, but some of those diets might have very wrong impact on your ability to have good outcome. So from research, the diet that is actually user-friendly is the Mediterranean diet. So if the diet you were formerly on before you considered IVF is healthy and approved by your doctor. Like there are some women that have endocrinology problems. There are some women that have problems with their body weight. If your provider with a dietitian structured a diet for you and it's been working for you, keep to that. But we don't encourage you to quickly switch to a new diet, to quickly start buying, Nutri-System and all those advertised weight loss issue. This is not the time to play a fast game. So if the diet you were formerly on is working for you and is healthy, and it's approved by your provider, you can stay on that. But we don't want you to have this quick switch during IVF. I love that question, COO. Can endometriosis cause failure in going for IVF? Yes. If we identify you have endometriosis, then we have to correct that because endometriosis is a known factor that can affect the totality of your fertility, especially as it regards to becoming pregnant. So endometriosis means you have endometrial cells outside the cover of your womb. So if you have those cells in the tube, it will affect the tube. If you have those cells in the ovaries, it will lead to endometrioma. So anywhere you have those endometrial cells and is identified, we have to fix them. So yes, endometriosis can complicate the outcome of IVF. Okay? Correct. There are different types of IVF, so many types. Okay. So we have long protocol, we have short protocol, then we have intermediate protocol. It's simply the duration, it's simply the method, it's simply the type of drugs we give you. So there are some drugs we call agonists, there are some drugs we call antagonists. So depending on your body system, there are some women that will go for short protocol. So within a short time, your body is responding okay. Then there are some women that will go for long protocol. You will need a lot of time for your body to respond positively before you go for that. So whichever one that works for you, your provider will tell you. Now, there are superior type of IVF. So some people might need to go for what we call ITSCI, intracytoplasmic sperm injection. So if the man has a very, very poor sperm indices, we have to inject that sperm directly into the egg. So that's a more expensive type of IVF. Now, there is also another type of IVF that will require PGD, pre-genetic diagnosis, pre-genetic testing. So the higher and the more specific the IVF is, the more complex and the more expensive. So there are different types of IVF. That's what I'm trying to say. Very beautiful question. I love that. How can poor nutrition lead to infertility? When you don't have good nutrition, and it can go both ways. So if you're eating the wrong things or if you're not eating at all, it's going to affect your hormones. So your hormones are not going to be balanced. Assuming you have overweight or you have obesity, high BMI will affect your ovulation. You will likely not ovulate. Assuming you're not even eating at all, you have anorexia. So anorexia means you are carefully not eating, or you have bulimia, it means you eat and you vomit. Then you're not going to have enough nutrition. And remember that a woman is supposed to have all these things to ovulate. So it has a direct impact on your reproductive hormones. So when your reproductive hormones are higher or lower, it will affect your ability to become pregnant. So your nutrition is very, very important. And remember the role of folic acid and all those other multivitamins and nutrients regarding the good formation of your baby. So the answer is yes. If you are not eating well, or if you're overeating, if you're overweight, if you're underweight, if you have obesity, that's a problem. We want it to be in the middle. Okay? I love that question. Is there age restrictions for IVF? Well, yes. Now, depending on the location where you're going for IVF, right? There might be some restrictions based on the maximum. So in some locations, they won't go beyond 55. In some locations, they can extend it to 60. In some locations, some people can go beyond 65. So it depends on your location. Now, remember that IVF is an indicated procedure. So what do I mean by that? You don't just say, oh, I want to go for IVF. You would have gone for natural process, IUI, drug treatment. And if you don't have good outcome, then we recommend IVF because IVF is on the top echelon. So there are a couple of restrictions regarding age. Now, there are also some lower limit. Of course, you can't give IVF to a girl that is not in her reproductive phase. So at the two extremes, IVF will not be recommended. Now, a woman that has gone into menopause, if all standards are good, can still go through IVF, with donor eggs. So yes, there are age limitations on the two extremes, both lower and the upper, depending on your location, depending on your health situation. Can a single lady go for IVF without having a partner? Yes, depending on your location. Yes, you can go for that. Okay, now, we are not all Nigerians. I know in Nigeria we have a lot of spirituality, a lot of morals and all that, but a woman has the right to have a baby. So a woman can adopt, a woman can go for donor sperm, a woman can have a baby, 100%. So is your right? The answer is yes. Yes, you can. All right? Your right to have a baby is your fundamental human rights, 100%. So it's not only people that are in, this is not a moral instruction class. We're talking to all women. Anything that you want to have that makes you happy, go for it. So the answer is yes. The fact you're divorced, single, separated, or whatever cannot stop you from having your baby. You can adopt, you can go for surrogacy, you can go for donor sperm. There are so many ways for you to have your baby in 2022. The answer is yes. Can couples going for IVF select the sex of their baby? Yes. That means you are going for the PGD. So that's pre-genetic testing, pre-genetic diagnosis. We carefully select the gender of the child you need and you go for it. It's a little bit more expensive. So the answer is yes. There are fertility help teas all over the internet. What do you think? Definitely you don't consume them, my sister. You know that by now. Unfortunately, we are in the era of so much propaganda, so much falsehoods, and people are capitalizing on your money. They write fertility on anything and they can sell like hotcake. Matter of fact, I told COO, I think last 2 years, there was one particular lady in Facebook that was selling fertility tea. And people were rushing to her in millions. Her page was in millions. I don't talk down on people, but my people, there are certain things you have to ask yourself fundamental question. There is no magic tea out there. If we have all these things, we won't have infertility. So don't spend your hard-earned money dashing it to people that will not help you. So you see all those fertility helps and all that, avoid them. Matter of fact, some of them might be poisonous to your system. Some of them might be causing you hormone imbalance. So there is no such thing. There are no quick fixes in becoming pregnant. Take your time, do the right thing. Sometimes it might be delayed, sometimes it might take you months, sometimes it might take you years, but you will become. Don't deny yourself the opportunity of becoming a mother by doing the wrong things you're not supposed to do in the first place. Okay, guys, we have 3 more minutes and we transition to our Facebook. 3 more minutes. I'm even surprised the turnover, only few people showed up for a very important topic like this. You see, most times we wait for things to happen, then we start being reactive. Some people will not leverage on the information. Some people will not use the IVF guide. Then when it fails, they will come back and start crying. Hey, doc, it failed. What can I do? Why don't you start now? Why don't you know about the food items? Why don't you know about the things you should do to improve your chances? Why will you wait till something fails before you come back and you start doing things you could have done previously? How does an unhealthy diet affect male fertility? About the same way it will affect the female fertility. So if a man is not eating healthy, the possibility he's going to be obese, the possibility he will have, all those, elements in the body, high cholesterol that will predispose to obesity, affecting the hormones, especially the testosterone. So what happens in men that add a lot of body weight? They will start converting testosterone to estrogen. And men ordinarily should not have more estrogen. So when they begin to convert more testosterone to estrogen, they will begin to develop characteristics of women. So some men will begin to develop breast. So when we check their normal hormone level, their FSA, their LH will be all over the place. So it will affect the male reproductive system via the male reproductive hormones. So the same pathway that affects women will also affect the ability to produce sperm. So we normally encourage men to live healthy, no alcohol, exercise, drink your water, mind what you eat, watch your body weight. So they will all affect everything about you, including your ability to make love. Okay? All right. 1 more minute, then we are done. Make sure you join me in our Facebook page immediately. If you are not able to join in YouTube, it's okay. If today is the first day attending our clinic, we love you so much. Thank you for coming. Please remember to like, remember to comment, remember to share, and remember to subscribe to our channel in YouTube. We show up every Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Nigerian time. Then every Tuesdays, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 11:30 p.m. Nigerian time. You will see me talking about topics I love talking about women and kids. This is what makes me happy. I want to help a lot of women become pregnant, and not just becoming pregnant, have your baby. This is truly what makes me glow. So thank you for coming tonight. The clinic is over. Please, let's transition to our Facebook page immediately. Admin, thank you so much. I love all the questions. So share this video with anyone you know that is planning to go for IVF, and encourage them to practice eating the 5 classes of food. God bless you guys, and I'll see you guys in Facebook. Bye-bye for now.